Hi everybody, Morgan with Event Answer here, and today I want to share with you how to make this rainbow backdrop with clouds above. It's a really inexpensive way to add some vibrant color and drama to any kind of party or event. So follow along and I'll show you how I did this. To start off this project, I'm going to cut out all of the pieces of crepe paper. So I have a tape measure, a pencil, and a pair of scissors here to help me do that. And this is my first color, purple, but I've got 6 of them in total. And I'm just going to rip off the first layer of the crepe paper. It's always glued down and I can't quite ever get it away cleanly, so I just rip it off and then cut the end so I have a nice clean edge to it. Now I'm going to unroll 16 feet of this, and that's so that it'll fit on an 8-foot tall stand. So I'm going to use my tape measure here and pull it out to a little past 3 feet. You could also use a yardstick for this, but I felt that 3 feet was kind of a comfortable distance to pull this out. As I was unrolling the crepe paper, I found that it wanted to twist on me as I pulled so much of it. So I found that if I put a pencil right in the center of the crepe paper roll, it acted as a spindle and made it really easy to pull off loads of crepe paper really quickly without it getting twisted. Now I'm going to cut 10 of these off of each roll, so I'll have 10 in each color, giving me 60 total strips, and that's going to work really well for my 8 by 8 foot backdrop frame. So I'm just going to gather this up, throw it in the pile with all the others, and we're ready to start hanging. And then next I'm just going to put each strand of crepe paper over the top bar and pulling it to it's about halfway. I'm not too worried about it being perfectly in the middle at this point, so I'm just going to eyeball it, get them all up there, and press them next to each other. I'm going to do this with all 6 colors, so I'll have all 60 strands on there. Now you'll notice that the backdrop is a little lower. I don't have it at the full 8 feet right now, and this just makes it a lot easier to put everything on. So once everything's on and secured, I'll raise it back up to the 8 feet, but for now, having it lower is super helpful. And speaking about helpful, I want to take a moment and talk about this backdrop frame. I recently got it from eFavormart.com and purchased it with my own money because I've been looking around for a lightweight stand that has really wide feet that are flat to the ground, not those tripod stands, and this is exactly what this backdrop is. I've enjoyed the stand so much, I decided to work with eFavormart to get you guys a coupon code. So if you are looking for any kind of event props, you can head over to eFavormart.com, and at checkout, if you put in Event Answer into the coupon code box, you can get 15% off your purchase. I've bought all kinds of things from them over the years, including linens and florals, balloons, and this backdrop stand. So if you enjoy what you see on their website, make sure you use coupon code Event Answer to get a 15% off discount for yourself. After I hung all the crepe paper onto the stand, I went along with a stapler and stapled through both sides of the crepe paper up near the top of the pole, and this will hold it in place so if a kid runs by and wants to run their hand across it, it won't pull the crepe paper down. And don't worry, because those staples are going to be hidden by the balloons. To make the clouds, I'll be using my electric inflator as well as a hand pump, and then I have 12-inch balloons and 5-inch balloons, and I'm just going to inflate these all to various sizes. So I'm not using a sizer box, I'm just going to eyeball the sizes and just make sure there's lots of big and small ones in both of the balloon sizes. And I'm going to inflate the balloons in sets of 4. Now each of these sets of 4 could be made up of all of the 5-inch balloons, they could be made up of all the 12-inch balloons, or it could be a combination between the 5 and 12-inch balloons. Just make sure you've got a really nice organic mix, because that's what's going to make these clouds really stand out and be fluffy. So I'm going to take my first 2 balloons and tie them together in a pair by twisting it around once, around twice, and then tying that off. So I'm going to do that with both sets of balloons, so I'll end up having 2 pairs. And then I'm going to twist those 2 pairs together. So you just take the balloons and twist them around until they stay together. So this is a set of all small balloons. This is a set of all large balloons, inflated to different sizes. And here's a combination of some small balloons and a big balloon. To make the clouds, I'm going to be using some fishing line, and I'm just attaching it here to a stand a couple times with some tape. I've also seen people do this with a doorknob, which is super cool, but I had the stand handy, so I'm going to use that. Take my first set of balloons and just weave the fishing line in and out of the balloons, and that's what's going to hold everything secure. So I'm going to take my next set of balloons and snug it right up next to the first set of 4, and just weave the fishing line between the new set of balloons and the old sets of balloons. So here you see, snug it up wrap the fishing line around the new balloons, and then wrap it in a figure 8 pattern around the balloons from the previous set of 4. And just by mixing up the sizes and the shapes, this is what's going to give it that organic look. So I just repeated this until I had 8 feet worth of balloons, which ended up being about 50 12-inch balloons and about 50 of the 5-inch balloons. So now I'm just going to go ahead and hang it, and I left a long tail on either end of the balloon cluster. So I'm just going to tie that to the very top corner of the stand, really tight. You could use a little bit of tape here to secure it just in case. But I'm going to do that to both ends, and you can see me tugging on it because I want it to be nice and taut and I don't want it to sag in the middle. So I'm just going to support the middle a little bit until I can get this end tied. Now I am standing on a chair, so before I put the balloons up, I did raise the stand up higher. I did raise it to about 7 feet, so there is some crepe paper laying on the ground. Now, to help that droop that's kind of happening in the middle of the balloons, I'm going to take a long white balloon, what you make balloon animals out of. I'm going to stretch it tight and wrap it just around the center of the column and attach it to the backdrop between 2 strips of crepe paper. Now I have a few extra clusters of small balloons, and with a long white balloon, I'm just going to tie it around those clusters a couple times and fill in any holes that I kind of see in the cloud. So I'm going to take both ends of that long white balloon, weave the ends in between balloons that are already on the columns. So just kind of make a figure 8 pattern around some of those already existing balloons with both ends, and that'll hold that mini cluster in place. And then it's just time for some final touches. You can keep adding clusters until you're satisfied with how the cloud looks. I also went along and straightened out some of the crepe paper. It was kind of twisted from laying on the floor. So I'm just going to straighten those out and then pick them up and pool them on the ground. I kind of liked this pooling look, so I decided not to raise the stand clear to the 8 feet, but you totally can if you want the height. I hope you found today's project inspirational. With just some everyday items like balloons and crepe paper that you can pick up just about anywhere, you can make this magical backdrop to enhance your next party or event. So I hope you found this helpful, and if you've watched the video this long, you're obviously interested in events and parties. So I want to tell you about an upcoming video I've got going on. I'm going to sit down and do a Q&A with you. That's right, if you've got any questions you'd like to ask me as an event planner about any of the projects I've done, if you are putting on an event and have a question that I can answer as an event planner, I'd be happy to do that. Or if there's other things you'd like to know, like how to get started as an event planner or how to do certain kinds of events, leave them in the comments below, and I'll be collecting questions in this video and a couple others until February, and you can be looking forward to that Q&A video coming up in February. So if you're curious about anything having to do with event or party planning, leave it below and I'll do my best to answer it. So until the next project, I'll see you later. Bye!